Well, I think that's a good question. I don't know necessarily which one helps him more, but I guess if I had to put money on it, I would say if Trump is in jail, I would say he's got a worse chance, I think, of winning. But if Trump is found innocent, for example, and he's not in jail because he was found innocent, then I would say he's got a really good chance.
If he's cleared of all charges going in, it's 100%. What if Trump actually wins? That's the question at hand here. I think that there are a bunch of people that have written off Trump's ability to win, actually win the presidency. But what if they're wrong? How would the media act? How would the Democrats react? How would the systems that form the government, both at the surface level and, at deeper levels, respond to Trump taking office? If the hysteria that resulted around the 2016 election is a benchmark, then I think we're in for quite a show if Trump is able to pull this off.
Under this scenario, is Trump in jail at the time of the election, or is Trump not in jail at the time of the election? Because that's like a legitimate question.
Which one helps them, in your opinion?
Well, I think that's a good question. I don't know necessarily which one helps him more, but I guess if I had to put money on it, I would say if Trump is in jail, I would say he's got a worse chance, I think, of winning. But if Trump is found innocent, for example, and he's not in jail because he was found innocent, then I would say he's got a really good chance.
If he's cleared of all charges going in, it's 100%.
Yeah, so I was operating under the assumption that RFK was not in the race and that Trump is probably going to be in jail or maybe on the road to being in jail, which I think is what's going to happen. I think they're going to put him in jail. So I mean, I want scenarios in all of this. But
I want Jim to jump in here because I'm actually kind of surprised. I thought your number would have definitely been higher than 27%. So let me have your take on his prospects of winning before we get into the hypothetical of if and when he wins.
Oh, how do I talk about this without getting the channel nuked from space? I'm really at a loss. Let's just say that I do not have 100% confidence in the integrity of our election system in this country.
Oh, God.
Okay. All right. I did say it in a way that's going to get us in trouble.
It's over.
I didn't really think it through. Sorry. The 2020 election was one of the weirdest elections ever. And yet our establishment told us that it was the most secure election in American history. We have been nothing but lied to and gaslit about everything that happened in 2020. COVID was the excuse they needed to basically set up for nationwide the perfect election system if you're a Democrat, and the way you run elections, which is to send out as many absentee ballots as you can, not require any signatures, send out people to collect those ballots, so-called ballot harvesting, and then bring them in whenever you feel like it, and then count them up. And what do you know? You win just in exactly the places you need to make sure that your candidate gets, 83 million votes, the most in history, and just enough to win the Electoral College. So that was my last view of the last election that we had. And I don't see anything that has changed that would make our elections more on the up and up, more, they would give me more confidence in them, that would have people actually showing up to vote, that would have registrations double checked, and to make sure that people that are dead or have 3 residences are not registered to vote in 3 different places, things like that. Whenever that's attempted, it's called voter suppression, and it's and all sorts of other nonsense. But what it really is trying to ensure that everybody who can legally vote does vote. That's what I think every American wants. If we have another election in 2024 with basically the exact same setup that we had in 2020, you should be surprised that my number is actually 27 and not, as Justin's is, 1. Because I don't know if with all of the headwinds that Donald Trump has among the electorate, and the, he's, how many indictments is he under now? Is it 6? Is it 4? I can't keep.
No, it's 40, isn't it? Doesn't he have like 40? Oh no, 6. No, it's 4 indictments.
Things, right?
40 charges or something.
91.
Like
91.
And Justin, 91. It's adorable that you think that he might be found not guilty in one of these trials.
Oh wait, hang on.
I didn't say that. I just said
Update 92. It's 92 now. All right.
92,
Yeah.
yes. So
Well,
I know-
actually,
I-
yesterday he was, in court yet again for quote unquote overvaluing his assets, and they said Mar-a-Lago is worth $18 million. Actually, it's worth apparently $300 million. So
yeah, I think there's an outhouse next to Mar-a-Lago that costs $18 million.
That costs $18 million. Yeah,
I have a quick
and note that came down right after more information about the Biden crime family came out. Again, it's a
Right.
joke. It's a meme on Twitter. Every time bad news about the Bidens comes out, oh, I guess Trump needs to be indicted again. Bam, the Mar-a-Lago stuff comes out. I mean, it's really unbelievable. So the idea that Donald Trump can fight all of this off, and that the American people would select him, and that the result would be that he's president, I find that extremely
Wait, Justin,
unlikely.
you had your turn. I got to go to Chris first.
No. I just want to ask Jim one quick question. Okay. So, Jim, are you saying if the election? So, if we go back pre-COVID election rules, okay, are you saying what are the odds Trump wins then?
Well,
pre-COVID election rules. If we had pre-COVID election rules,
right.
What are the odds that Trump wins?
Oh, I would actually give it a little bit above 50%. Yeah, I really would. Without all the other stuff happening. I mean, if the elections were run like they were in 2016, yeah, I think he could beat Biden actually pretty easily, but not the way election laws, as we call them laws, are set up in 2020.
Well, I think that the voters are well aware that Bidenomics is failing and that they are not getting ahead. They're getting, even more behind. And it's coming from all angles. It's coming from a macro angle. It's coming from a micro angle. It's coming from the fact that interest rates keep spiking because, the debt just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. It's coming to the fact that prices are rising and wages are not keeping up with those rising prices. I think that one of the things that could be Biden's Achilles heel here is his. I don't want to. So a couple of days ago, Joe Biden was apparently congratulating LL Cool J. Okay. Joe Biden referred to LL Cool J as boy. Okay. Charlemagne the God analyzed that and said that was one of the most disrespectful things that has ever come out of a politician's mouth. Joe Biden has a bad history of saying things like that. Mm-hmm. I think that black men in particular are incredibly sick and tired of Biden's stupid comments and his stupid policies. And I think that if a block of black men say sayonara to the Democratic Party, we're going to go and we're going to, give Trump, a shot. I think that alone would be the end of Biden's reelection campaign. But I also think that one of the things that is going to be a big problem for Biden in 2024, union workers. And, this strike at the, UAW is because of Biden's stupid green energy policies and the fact that it takes 2/3 less workers to make an EV. These companies are losing money, and the only reason that they're staying afloat is because of the subsidies to these. And I think that is starting to to resonate with not only auto workers but just workers in general. The regulations, the energy stuff. Donnie, I play golf a lot, and I talk with a lot of business owners, and I've talked with a lot of business owners the last couple of weeks. They have just said that it is impossible to stay profitable in this economy, and I think that alone, people are going to vote on their checkbook. Like James Carville said, it's the economy stupid all the way back in 92. I think that is just going to, be the number one priority for voters.
This strike in Detroit with UAW is because of Joe Biden's interference in the free market with these government subsidies and the absolute hypocrisy to show up and stand on the picket line with them has just been sickening to me personally. But to continue on to why I chose 45, I think that he does have a lot of steam among his base. And again, this is barring whether or not he's in jail, forgetting whether or not, right, let's say all things fair, throwing election rules out, he does have a very strong base, which wants me to pump those numbers up. Like what Chris said, people will be voting with their checkbook. They will be realizing that this economy has been terrible for a long time and is not getting better. My concern, and what has always been my concern with Trump, is that Democrats are emotional about him. They have very visceral, primal feelings. And there is this reaction to him that I don't think anyone else can like rally and get away from. Even him, I don't know if his supporters can come out and outweigh the way that Democrats hate him. And that is so much more now after his presidency than it was in 2016. COVID voting laws aside, I just have this mental image that I can't shake of a very angry, like left-leaning person, like stomping to the polls to vote for anyone but Trump, whether it's RFK, the same way like an emotional wronged ex would like walk with a pep in his step to like key someone's car. Like it's personal, it's emotional to them. And I don't think you can get away from that. On the same side, sorry, one more point.
Right, yes.
On the same side, you have the very conventional Republicans who are the never Trumpers. I know a lot of people who are very conservative, but felt like the right thing to do in the last election was to write in someone else. So you will have, and I'm so afraid of another circumstance where the left completely mobilizes and gathers together, and then people on the right vote with principle and like to choose the write-in option because that is what our country allows, but it also further continues to destabilize a progressive and growing movement for the right to obtain victories.